Who do we got with us, brother, today?
We got this dude has been on Billboard.
Uh huh.
He
Well,
is a
wait, hold
writer.
on. What billboard was he on?
The Billboard industry.
Oh, okay, I thought you were talking about billboard, like in Times Square.
Well, he may have been that
you
too. You
know.
never know.
Was he posing?
He was posing for
Nah.
Jesus.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, and he's written for numerous gospel artists, and they have been billboarded as well. So he has the Midas touch. This is none other than the Sean D. Scales. What's up? What's up?
What's happening, brother Sean?
Hey, how y'all doing? God
Man,
bless you.
We are
Good
blessed.
morning.
Yes.
We are blessed and highly favored. We thank God each and every day for just waking us up.
Yes.
And we just wanted to start off. I'm just going to start off by just asking, and I don't want you to get offended, but I'm going to ask right off the bat,
Don't let him scare you.
because I've been having this concern about you for a very long time. And I just really want you to answer this question. Now, where do you live at now?
I live in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, see, that's the thing that I wanted to get to. In Charlotte, North Carolina, you are a part of a really booming African American population that is taking some humongous steps. And I wanted to know, when I sent you my demo tape and
God.
told you that I wanted to sing background for you, why I never got a call back.
What email did you send it to?
Sean, don't go with this, dude.
I sent,
He's
I
playing
sent,
with you.
but I sent it to the same email that Robert have been, the same email that Robert been contacting you on. No, man. I love to start off interviews like that to let
Yes.
you know that you're at home.
Yeah.
And that we have great respect for you as an artist and as a producer. And just want to start off by saying, how did you start in the industry?
It started with my father. I'm a son of a preacher man, PK. And one day the Lord told him to take me in the studio at the age of 15, and I started to work in the studio. And his engineer turned around and said, "Hey, Donnie," that was my father's nickname, Pastor Donald Lee Scales. He said, "Donnie, you were good in your day, but your son will supersede you." And he said, "You're David and he's Solomon. You started it, he's gonna finish it." So Dad got me on the right path, got me on the right track. And then learning the business, told me to sign up for a BMI publishing company. So at the age of 18, I had my own publishing company. In that regard, there knew how to copyright and knew the different things there that the knowledge that he knew. And then when you're ready for an opportunity, God has a way of presenting things to you. So I began to write for Worldwide Records, which is now called Black Smoke Entertainment, Cherry Douglas.
Right.
And I was writing and producing for Chief Wonderboy Johnson.
Wow.
In that regard there. So I started Quartet. And that was the first start of understanding the music business to the degree that I'm functioning in right now. Going forward, it's been the strong arm of the Lord. Started by way of the unction of the Holy Spirit. One day I was sitting in my chair and the Lord said, "I want you to tweet Lowell Pie." I didn't know Lowell at the time from Adam from Eve.
Right.
So I tweeted him and said, "Hey, my name is Sean Scales. I'd love to do something with you." And to my amazement, he responded back and said, "Send me something, bro." Sent me his email. I thought it was a joke. I sent him what I felt led to send him. He said, "I've been looking." He said, "What's your number?" I called him, and he called me, and he said, "I've been looking for a song to hold me over." That song then was All Right, back in 2013, and took us all the way to 2013, 2015. It was number 15 on the billboards. He then signed a deal with E1, and that was one of the songs that was, the highlight of that particular record. Then came back and did another song with him, We Need You. And then in the process of that, he featured on one of my songs called All My Praise. So no entourage, no big fanfare. This has been me and God. I've been blessed to work with Lisa McClendon. What's
Wow.
going on, Lisa? As a matter of fact, if Lowe's listening, praying for you and the family. I know he's out. His mother passed away in that regard there, but we're praying for him as well. So this has been just a journey with the Lord. Currently, I'm gonna stop talking in a minute, but currently we got a single getting ready to come out, and we'll get it to you guys
Please.
pretty soon there. But we signed a deal with Jovan Dawkins, and he's with the crew with Dawkins and Dawkins, and he's also in the crew as well in that regard there. But we got a new song called "Bless the Business," so that's going to be tremendous in that regard. So with my good buddy Quentin Cole, Quentin Coley. So this has just been a journey, patience, in that regard, and just came from working out, and then I ran over to check on the boys, make sure they're doing good. I'm a single father of two children that I do remote learning. This is remote learning. So as you were saying, everything ain't peaches and cream, but God's still in the blessed business. God's still making a way, and He still deserves all my praise.
Well, I'm gonna jump in because he said something. I'm gonna give you the rules and regulation. He said, look, I'm gonna give you my whole dossier first of all, and then I done deciphered it, and I done put it into order. But I gotta go all the way back to when you was in high school, bruh. You was in high school with your own publishing company and your business. I just want to ask you a question. Could your teachers and your friends tell you anything at that point? Did you walk into school be like, look, y'all don't even understand. I'm a businessman. This is a process. How was it being so young?
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I really didn't know. I didn't know. I was before my time. Yeah.
Okay. Because I just have to say it. Don't let me now. I was working and doing my business thing. But if I was in high school and had my own publishing company, it was right for folks, I'd have walked in and I'd have had music playing out my briefcase. As I walked into the classroom, they'd be like, what's that? That's my theme music. I'm coming in. Prophet Eldine, I know you got a question.
Sean, but I think it's amazing that your father gave you the foundation of the music industry, because so many people put they go fast and they lose a lot of ground because they don't know the business to the music industry. Let's talk about you knowing the music industry part before you started doing all the other producing and writing and singing.
Yeah. That was like you said, that was the foundation that my dad, had instructed me to do what he knew to do. Start teaching me about copyrights. Back in the day, you had to, now you can upload them.
You used to email it to yourself.
Upload them online, but back in the day, I believe it was like $35, and you had to send it in and wait like 3 to 6 months before you get the certificate back. But just to seal the stamp from the mailing was good enough in that regard. There, you get your receipt and what have you. So it was just the knowledge base of understanding what to do to initially get started, and then just take your time. Many people peak so soon. They're talented and gifted, but we fail to realize that there's a million. There's over 6 billion people in the world, and in your particular field of expertise, there's millions of people just like you. So there has to be something that distinguishes you from the rest in that regard. So it's not a matter of being better than. It's just your time and your season. What specifically are you supposed to be doing, and are you positioned when that time comes? And that's the life lesson that my father taught me. Through the anxieties, they've been with me through those frustration times, or what about me periods and things of that nature. It's those foundational pieces that guided my footsteps along with the Lord, and not only just my father, but my father and my mother, in that regard. My father, rest in peace, took his rest over 9 years ago. But he got me started. I'm a daddy's boy. Love my mama.
Right.
But he definitely got me started like that.
Well, I'm just going to ask you this straight up. Okay, you say you're a daddy's boy, but you love your mama. Out of the two of them, who could cook the best?
You're not gonna get me in trouble.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask because
I can't get in trouble like that.
I'm like sitting up here like if Mama listen, I'm like saying you better say me because if you don't say me, but let me ask you this: growing up,
You're not gonna get me.
Right.
growing up in the church, one of the things that I love when I hear PK kids growing up in the church and still being in the church. What was the opportunities that you had to experience new instruments and things of that nature? When I grew up, my uncle bought all of us instruments because he wanted us to play. And so he actually invested in every young person in the church that wanted to play. For you, how was instrument shopping for you when you was with your dad?
Well, first I started off on the drums, and then I got tired of him getting on the piano banging, and so I taught one of my friends in the church how to play the drums, and then I said, "Hey, Dad, just focus on preaching, and I got the rest." And so I started to take, he let me play his keyboard, and then he went and bought me my first big professional keyboard, which would have been the Trinity.
All right.
Back in the day. So you had the Triton and the Trinity. And then I ended up getting the Triton rack.
All right. So you can just carry it around with you, huh?
On the Yamaha.
You can carry it around. Yeah, I got you.
The big old case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's what got me started. And then, with those, they had like the sequences built in. And so that's when production really became the thing for me. I started producing my own songs, and I had a karaoke machine that I would plug it up to and start flipping the tape backwards and forwards to record the music and sing it and stuff. So, at least the quality would differ, get lower each time you do it. But that's when he started to see, okay, nobody told him how to do this, but he's doing this. I'm going to take him in the studio. So, yeah.
So did Daddy do the next thing? Did he build your own studio for you?
I actually, through my one of my brothers, Jerry Cummings, I walked in a music store where he worked at, and he actually said at the time, studios were the big thing. But at the time when I turned around 17, 18, I met him, and he said the next big wave is going to be recording software. And so he started to teach me the recording software and put me ahead of the curve. So basically, I would just take over the basement.
Okay.
I'd take over the basement and turn it into, the studio. So, yeah.
Excellent.
Yes. So how did you get connected with that big major record company?
It was a brother by the name of Renato Butler in Columbus, Ohio. And he was a producer with Kerry Douglas Worldwide Records at the time. And my friend Jerry Cummings, I told him, I said, hey man, I think I'm gonna leave, man. I don't see anything out here, in Columbus for me. I'm gonna go to Colorado, which I ended up doing, but not at the moment in that regard. And so he didn't want me to leave, so he got a hold of Leonardo and said, hey, I want you to take a listen to this guy. And so, Leonardo called me over and we talked, and he said, you got your publishing? And I said, yeah, I do. I'm my own publisher through BMI. And he said, okay, you're ready. Write me something. I need a quartet tune. So I wrote in something and submitted it. And that's been the start, And once that got rolling, I knew what royalties were in that regard. The second year with Chief Wonderboy Johnson, we ended up doing a subsidiary deal with Verity Records at the time. I believe now it's called RCA Inspirational. And that was the Just BME record with Chief Wonderboy. And I did 2 songs on there. And one I ended up featuring with him in that regard there. So, you got to pay your dues, in that regard. But it was a great experience knowing the business part and having, some form of business together. It allowed me not to be taken advantage of.
And I think that's a great foundation and a great setup by God, because you were already ready. So when you were in the position, you were able to move forward, which is a blessing.
So, so let me ask you this: um, working for all the label, working for you know, known people, has it made it easier when you transitioned into your own music career as an artist? You know, did it make it easier for you to get in the industry and to thrive?
Um, it didn't make it easier. It provided understanding
Okay.
because writing for people and producing for people and or labels, that doesn't mean that from an industry perspective they're going to let you in.
Mm-hmm.
They see you, uh, they see you the way you came in. You're a writer, you're a producer, you're a background singer, arranger.
Mm-hmm.
You can do all. You can be the one in the back doing the most work. And remember, back in the days, they used to have physical CDs. Used to be really, really important because it provided information, what we would call liner notes,
Mm-hmm.
as to who's doing what.
Exactly.
And you could see the Aaron Lindsays and
Yes.
the Jovan Dawkins, the Derek DC Clark,
Mm-hmm.
those producers and stuff. These are some of the producers I was listening to in the day. You could see who was behind the scenes. And was like, man, it's for me. I was like, man, okay, I like that. But in this day and age, everything is, virtual, more online,
Mm-hmm.
more social media presence, and so you see the front, you never see the back.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to switch it over from to a biblical perspective. You got to run your race with patience
Yes.
in that regard. And when the resume is rolled out, when the red carpet is rolled out as to who is he, and when they start digging, and they're like, oh, that's who he is,
Right.
or that's what he's done. Okay, I'm gonna pay a little bit more attention to him or her. But you gotta wait for that. That's not something you put out. Because everybody has a resume.
Right.
It's just when is yours? When is the time for yours to be read? So like I said, you just got to run your race with patience.
Well, this whole industry is predicated on timing, and God's timing is
Absolutely.
impeccable. A lot of people that are coming up don't want to pay dues. They see the glamour, they see the glory. They don't know the process of starting from scratch, singing in your church choir, serving
Right.
people. Do you still work in your church?
I do. I do. I serve. I served at a couple of churches in that regard. They're helping with the music department in that regard. I am now a minister in that regard, minister of the word. Because I've been preaching for a long time, but growing up as a child, of course, PK, that's not always a given, but the mantle did fall to me.
Right.
So just recently, I've accepted, that position of beginning to cultivate that and not hide behind the keyboard and the music. The music is doing what it's doing.
Right.
So once you get to a certain place, it doesn't mean you've arrived. But once you get to a certain place where the momentum is rolling, it may not be where you want it to go, but it's rolling. There's other facets of your life, other facets that God has for you that you need to cultivate as well.
Right.
In that regard there. But to answer your question, absolutely, very well involved in my church in that regard, and assist with the music in that regard, and have assisted ministry in that regard. So yes, sir.
So you put in and you said it so quickly. I don't know if everybody heard it, but that you a single father of two boys.
That's correct.
Okay. So my question to you, Daddy, are you cultivating your two boys to follow in your footsteps? And who's on the drum, who's on the bass, and who's on the keys?
Good question. I am not cultivating them to follow in their footsteps. I'm cultivating them to follow and be prepared to walk in their footsteps. Knowing that music music, and I see other things in them, is a part of them in that regard. They're a part of them, but I am cultivating that. For example, at the time, they're now 9 and 7, but at the time they were like 5 and 3 in that regard. I did a song called I Shine. My son's name is Isaac. So I took his first initial, I, and my eldest son is Sean, my namesake. And I put I in front of Sean and made it an acronym. I shine every day and never give up. That's on YouTube. ISEAN. It's for kids. And I went to my old Sunshine Academy, my old elementary school as a preschool at the time, and we did a music video, and so it's on YouTube in that regard there, and kids get a hold of it. Daycares, they get a hold of it and start singing. I was cultivating something. I had them acting and singing. I had other kids, so I see the acting in them. I see the singing in them. I'm currently working on a project. It's going to be a 5-song project for kids, involving them in that regard there. So I see the gifts. I'm cultivating them in that regard there. But I'm taking them along the way, and as long as the Lord has me, I'm going to help them stand on their own 2 feet, so they can walk in the things that's assigned for them.
Amen. Boy, you this was an inspirational moment right there.
Right.
I want to put you as a poster child,
for
the single fathers. Like I said, they not walking in my footsteps. I'm gonna let them have their own footsteps. Right. That could preach right there.
Come on.
That could preach right there.
It can preach. Now, who is some artists that you would love to collaborate with that you have not collaborated yet? Who would be your dream wish list?
And you can start off with my name first if you need to, because
Don't start off with him.
You know what?
Discernment.
I'm gonna come right back to you. Let's get done. I was blessed to. It's crazy to listen to Minute Standard, and then be blessed to work with Lowell Pye.
Yes, he can sing.
But Isaac Curry would be the next person on the list to work with. Dietrich Haddon. I'd say Marvin Winans.
Oh yes,
got to do that.
That's a legend.
And the Williams brothers.
Legends.
I don't know if a lot of people hit, but the Williams brothers, Doug and Melvin Williams. There's some bad guys.
Some of the best male vocalists.
I definitely would love to work with them on the quartet grooves, or pull out my falsetto with them and croon a little bit. Let's see. I think right now that's for right now. That's my list, man. That's my list, and those are legendary. Those are legends.
Legends.
Fred Hammond. I'm not gonna put that past him. One of my favorite music producers, songwriters is Aaron Lindsay. Definitely want to work with him in that regard there. So those are some of the at the top of my head. Yeah.
Okay, well, I hate to do this, but I do this because this is the Wake Up Morning Show. We're going to conduct a little business right now and create a little holy hookup. Shauna D is on the line, and Shauna D says she needs to connect with you because she's doing a children's project on the West Coast.
Yes.
And she want to just chop it up with you. Robert L. Dean, tell them who Shauna D is.
And I can connect you, bro.
I don't know. Tell them who Shauna D is.
Shauna D is a young lady who was an actress on A Different World. She sung with L.A. Mass. She sung with Brent Jones and the TP Mob.
Okay.
She's the voice that you hear on Snoop
Okay.
Doggy Dog. That's her doing the ad lib, and she is very, very talented. And she's been looking to do a children's album, and we've been trying to connect her with people, and we have not found anybody solid. Sean, I'm telling you, if you bless this lady and give her a chance, I believe God will bless you for imparting in somebody like her who wants to be a blessing to young people.
So this simply, we're going to connect you to and see what the Lord does.
Yes.
This how our show run. Folks be tapping in and be like, say, on this show you might be able to find a wife, find a production deal, get casted in a movie, because that's what comes on a daily basis. And so we believe that on the station that we should, a lot of people like to covet things and hold things instead of putting people together and see what God's going to do. So this is that station, and we are
Yeah.
not trying to covet you,
Right.
but we want to make sure that we let everybody know this brother's out here. This a veteran in the industry,
Yes.
and that he got so much anointing on him. Y'all need to get a piece of it. Can I get amen?
Amen.
So Robert O, let's ask these final questions.
I have a question.
Oh yeah.
What do you do
Yes, sir.
as far as you nurturing and mentoring up and coming artists, because there's so many more independent artists than they are signed to major labels? What are you, because a lot of people in the gospel don't do it like they should, but what are you doing to help bring up the next ones that you can impart in, like the Jumpy Keys do?
Sure, absolutely. When they come into my sphere of influence, I have given the knowledge that I have, or if they have questions, I've given the knowledge that I have and the things that I'm able to do. As a matter of fact, you just interviewed someone that I do radio promotions for, Martez. In that regard, he has brother Martez. He actually has a song called My Stuff.
Yeah.
In that regard, that you guys play, absolutely. So we service. I have also a radio promotions team that I've united with, and we've found alliance with in that regard. There, my company Royal House Entertainment and Praise One Media in that regard came together, and Brother Montez reached out to me. We had a conversation. I love the spirit, love his direction, his vision that he had, and we promoted his single to you in that regard, and to other radio stations. So we look forward to helping him crack the top 30 of the Gospel Billboard Indicator charts. There's two parts to the Billboard. There's Gospel Airplay,
Right,
and there's Gospel Indicator. My latest single. My previous single, I should say, called A New Beginning, featuring Naisha Watkins,
yes,
out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It charted and peaked at number 17 on the Gospel Indicator charts before we, stopped pushing that record in that regard there. So, anyone that needs radio promotions, I'm definitely here to hear your music, give you constructive criticism and feedback. Not that I am the greatest, but from what I've been allowed,
yes,
in that regard, there, if I'm able to be a help, I would definitely be a help because somebody helped me, in that regard there. I met a friend, real quick, just to share with you. I met a friend afterwards. He knew Noel Pye personally, and he said, "Man, you don't know this, but when you submitted those songs to him, he was actually letting me hear it and said, I'm going to take a chance on this kid."
wow.
So when I finally meet you and you tell me, I've never seen your face, but you told me everything that I already knew who you were, in that regard. So you don't know who you're talking to all the time. And he's a phenomenal singer as well.
Yes.
And I've, did some production for him as well, but you never know who is in the corner. I call them the cupbearers. Joseph needed a cupbearer to get him out of the pit.
Come on, preach
You
it.
never know. The cupbearers don't seem important, but they stand before kings.
Come on.
And in that regard, and we all are interchangeable. Sometimes you might have a season where you're in the pit, and you might have a season where you're a cupbearer standing before kings. So it's all in interchangeable positions. So, nobody is a big I, a little you. The world may paint it that way, but that's not really what it is. We're helpers one to another. That's really what it is.
Amen,
Wow,
amen.
that's amazing.
How can people connect with you and get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So my website is www.iamseanscales. That's my website. My Instagram is at Mr. Scales for Life, at Mr. Scales for Life. And then Sean Scales Music. If you look Sean Scales Music up on Facebook, you'll find me. I'm right there, SeanScales Music. Y'all know how to spell. Come on with it.
And if
I'm right there, you can Google me.
And you said Mr. Scales. So if there's somebody that want to hit you up because they want to be Mr. Scales, which email should they hit?
It's called Call Heaven. AskTheLord.com.
Right, do it again so they can type it in.
Call heaven and AskTheLord.com.
Right.
See, you know, we gonna call.
But he made it clear.
That was good. He like,
made it
you better
clear.
call heaven.
And it was spiritual sounding.
Yeah, it's
so
also
you
churchy.
wouldn't get offended.
Yeah, and it was like they said, because the man that findeth a wife findeth
Right.
good things. So if you inbox me, you out of order already.
You're already out of order. That means next.
Man, introduce your song. We had a good time with you, brother.
Listen. Oh my God! Listen, one more thing.
Yes.
For the singles, I got a book that I'm getting ready to come out with. It's going to possibly be February, March, and I would love to come back and do an interview. It's called "Before You Say I Do."
All right.
Talk about it, but it's "Before You Say I Do." Oh my God, powerful, man! Through the experiences that I've been through, the lessons I've learned.
Yes.
In that regard, God told me He was going to take me back through everything that I didn't know,
Right.
and things that I didn't do. And when I've been strengthened and converted, to strengthen my brothers and my sisters. So that's what we're going to do.
So we're gonna have to leave. We're gonna have to.
What song y'all got? You gotta tell me.
Yeah. So we gonna say, instead of, you know, introduce this song, and then we're gonna say "to be continued." So when the book come out, you call your brothers up, and we're gonna come back in and everything.
Yes.
But if you engaged or married, then we're gonna have a whole nother interview, because
Right.
we'll ask you to bring your wife on with you.
Okay. Hey, listen, let's do it.
Yeah.
that might be too that. I don't know if that's gonna happen. The Lord got to do something. He got to send Michael and Gabriel and everybody.
Right. The whole angelic crew.
Wait, watch this. Watch this. I can see your son's like, Daddy, that ain't it.
Right.
I hear your son's like, Daddy, that ain't it. No, Daddy.
Right.
Daddy, she don't even look like she can cook, Daddy.
Right. She ain't saved, Daddy. She's a loose one.
All right,
Yes,
introduce your song, brother.
Forgive him. He haven't taken his medicine.
Yeah. Introduce your song, my friend.
Listen, this is Sean Scales. You know what? I don't know what song you guys got.
A New Beginning.
Song y'all play.
A New Beginning.
I want the. No, oh yeah. All right. So that's my previous single. So this is Sean Scales, God One Radio. Hey, listen, I want you to take a listen to A New Beginning. It's a new year. I know a lot of stuff is going on, but God is still in the blessing business,
Yes, He is.
and He's still giving you a new beginning. Let's go.
Let's go.